Well, howdy, and welcome to another Mickey's Roundtable adventure. For this adventure, I headed over to Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. More specifically, I headed to Frontierland the week before the final Country Bear Jamboree and the very last day that attraction was open in its current state. That day I got to go twice, including the very last show ever. It's the end of an era, and you're not going to want to miss this Mickey's Roundtable adventure.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. You wish upon a star.
It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Who's the leader of the front that's made for you and me? M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S.
This is going to be, or is a part of a series of videos that I've started doing and I'm planning on doing called Attractions with Characters, where I go to an attraction and then meet various Disney characters that do meet and greets in that area. I did Journey into Imagination with Figment when Figment came back for his meet and greet. That was the first one that I did. This will be the second under that kind of category. This is where the idea came from. I was in Frontierland last year sometime, and Country Bears, they're out wandering around in Frontierland, and you can go get your picture taken with them. And I thought, you know what, they need more attractions with characters out front. And then I started thinking about it, and well, no, there's the Little Mermaid and Winnie the Pooh and Peter Pan and Aladdin. That's all just within Magic Kingdom. Oh, hey, I should do a segment where I do a whole bunch of these, and so I've got more planned. Like I said, I did Figment, and then with Country Bear Jamboree closing for a refurbishment, it's going to be the Country Bear Musical Jamboree when it reopens. 2024, sometime later this year. But I wanted to catch the very last show, or at least catch it within the last week or so before it closed forever in that most recent incarnation. But I wanted to get my pictures with the Country Bears. They don't have all of them because there's, what, a dozen different bears in the show, but they do 4 different characters that meet and greet out in and around Frontierland. And so I went and I met each one of those. I went, again, it was the week before Country Bears closed, and the day that I happened to go, Big Al was the one bear that was not there, must have called out sick, or he was hibernating, or who knows what. So I got the other 3 that were there, and then fortunately I'd been earlier the last year sometime and had gotten a picture with Big Al, and I was wearing the same shirt too. How about that? So after I got my pictures with the various Country Bears, I did go in and see the show. I wanted to go the week before it closed, but before it got like super crazy crowded. And it wasn't super crazy crowded. I actually went during the parade. The one, I saw it twice, and the one show was during the parade, and not very crowded at all. Kind of disappointing that they had announced its closing date and it wasn't super
Folks, and welcome to Grizzly Hollow, home of the one and the only Country Bear Jamboree.
Give me a little intro there, Gomer.
Y'all come up and see me sometime. You hear?
Yeah, as soon as I find a ladder, I'll be right up.
But it's a fun show. I've never been a super huge fan of Country Bear Jamboree. I like the Tiki Room a lot better, but it's really grown on me, and now that they're have gotten rid of it and they're going to change it, yeah, it's going to be missed. And there's a lot of super fans out there, so it's not just my opinion that it should be saved and kept the way that it was. So a brief history of the Country Bear Jamboree. It was originally developed for Mineral King Ski Resort that the Walt Disney Company and Walt Disney himself was going to build out in California. That project never came to be, but the Country Bear Jamboree did continue on. They decided to put it in Magic Kingdom. It was an opening day attraction, October 1st, 1971. Very popular. Of course, back in that time, in that day, Frontierland had two attractions, the Frontierland Shooting Arcade and Country Bear Jamboree. Splash Mountain wasn't there yet. Big Thunder Mountain wasn't there yet. Tom Sawyer Island and Tom Sawyer Island Rafts were not there yet. So it was kind of the only show in town. So probably added to its popularity. When you exit the Country Bear Jamboree, it goes right into Pecos Bill's Tall Tale Inn and Cafe, quick service restaurant in Frontierland there. My favorite quick service restaurant in all of Walt Disney World. So after I saw the show there, I headed in. Tall Tale Inn and Cafe is really cool. It fits Frontierland. It is based on the American folk tale, folk hero, Pecos Bill. And then what's really neat is throughout the restaurant there are nods to other folk heroes, folk tales, Paul Bunyan, John Henry, the Lone Ranger, as well as actual American heroes, folk heroes that actually lived. Kit Carson and Annie Oakley were a couple of them. And what's really neat is then it fits the theme of Frontierland, of course, and then across the road there, they've got an attraction based on African American folk tales. Brer Rabbit, Bear. Nope, sorry, they took that out. So yeah. Now the only problem that I have with the Pecos Bill Tall Tale Inn and Cafe, they've got the Texas flag hanging on the wall, and it's hung wrong. It's hung backwards. It needs to be pointing. The star needs to be pointing the other way. It's wrong, and if you're a Texan, you should be highly offended. So anyway, that was my plan, was to go see the Country Bears and get photos with the 4 Country Bears that do meet and greets out there in Frontierland, and get it done while I knew I could. But it turned out that the very last day that the attraction was open I was also able to get into the park and go see the show. Caught up with a friend of mine. They joined me. We headed in, and that was very cool. I'm glad that I went on the last day because the crowds were really into it.
Better than that. Can we try that one more time? Yeah? Okay. Well, howdy, folks! There we go. That was so good my ears started bleeding. Good job. Well, welcome to Grizzly Hall, home of the world famous Country Bear Jamboree. Me and the Bears... our very last day that we can barely contain it. You know what I mean? And feel free during our show to clap your hands and stomp your feet and hoot and holler and sing along. The Bears love it when you put your paws together for them. It's their very favorite thing. All right, let's get these boys to get started. You hear that? Let's hear you, boys.
What's holding you up? Let's get on with the show.
Al, Bump, be patient.
Yeah, we ain't going anywhere anyhow. We're kind of hung up here.
Give me a little intro there, Gomer.
And they're clapping along. The guests in the auditorium were singing louder than the Bears were, and so turned out, curtain opens up. Who was moving? Something was wrong with the animatronics, and show continued. Now, normally when they're doing a show like that, if there's a big technical problem, they'll shut the show down and have everybody leave the auditorium until they can get it fixed. Probably because it was the very last day of the show. They didn't want to disappoint anybody, didn't want any riots on their hands. They let the show run, and Country Bears is a cool show technically. There's multiple different stages and animatronics that come and go, so they'll curtain will close, bears will come up from behind, curtain opens, they come out. When they go down, one of the side curtains will open up, there'll be a bear in there, they'll do their bit, that curtain will close, someone else will open up over on the other side, and then where the bear was on the other side, it's on a turntable, it turns around and that curtain opens, and then there's a brand new bear there that wasn't there before. And so they do that, and so they're able to do many different characters and different songs and numbers and bits to the show with a kind of limited space for amount of show that they pack in there. It was fun. It's probably what it would have been like back in the 1970s when it was the only major attraction in Frontierland, and it was all the rage. So when I exited that show, they had cut off the line, which is normal when a ride goes down for maintenance or weather or whatever it happens to be. They won't let anybody new into the line. So that was standard procedure as far as I could tell. And so I thought, you know what, let me go grab something to eat. I headed into Pecos Bill's Tall Tale Inn and Cafe again, had something to eat. And then when I came back out, they had reopened the line, even though the attraction was still down for that same maintenance issue. And the line headed all the way around the corner, and I guess it went down to Pirates of the Caribbean. I didn't go down there to look. I heard about that later. But they reopened the line even though the ride was still down for maintenance. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to stand in that line and wait. It was going to be till after midnight before they got everybody through, if it came back up and ran again, which it didn't. So it was a good 2 hours before they finally called it and said, yeah, that's it, no more Country Bear Jamboree. So it's kind of a sad way to go that kind of went out without anybody even realizing it. It was the very last one ever. And so it will reopen as a different attraction as the Country Bear Musical Jamboree. And this feels like, if you're familiar with the Tiki Room, which I mentioned earlier was my favorite of the two, that one went down and was refurbished and became the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management. And they inserted Zazu from The Lion King and Iago from Aladdin, and they added new stuff, and it was apparently not a very good attraction, and they ended up reverting it back to the Enchanted Tiki Room.
Oh, look at all the people. And welcome to Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room.
Love that show, and I've come to fall in love with the Country Bear Jamboree, and it is sad that it is now gone, but I got to see it, and I got to see the very last show, so that's kind of cool. But so until next time, this has been another Mickey's Roundtable Adventure.
Well, folks, this concludes our show. So thanks for
All right, my friends, please collect your belongings. Exit to the right. We'll see you later.